Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. I'm SocietySucks and today I'm checking out How Free is the World by Mitsi Studio. Obviously different parts of the world are more or less free depending on what kind of government there is, but let's see exactly what they're going to talk about in this video.
How free is the world? In this video, we will take a look at the Human Freedom Index, a report that indicates the degree to which people enjoy civil rights and liberties across the globe. Spoiler alert, the report looks pretty grim. Allow us to kick things off with a non-fun fact. Human freedom has been in decline for almost 20 years.
Not surprising.
Terms, in 2025, you are trending towards wearing wide-leg trousers, listening to hyperpop, or just ruling a country in a dictatorial manner. That is, of course, sad news for people living in sad places, but it's great news for Mitsi, who now have a fresh video topic. To give you a clearer picture of the whole situation, we built you a cute little globe with puffy clouds to show you what's going on in the world. The parts that are marked in green are the countries where people are chilling and doing their own thing. You just can't mention biological males having penises, and you're not allowed to use the N-word as a white person. For the rest, everything's cool. Oh,
very much
how
it's been in the last 20 years.
Big time. The orange parts are countries that have a few issues concerning classical liberal principles. For example, rule of law, security and safety, freedom of movement, freedom of religion, freedom of association and assembly,
just most freedoms,
freedom to watch Mitsi Studio videos, freedom of expression, freedom in relationships, freedom in making long lists that make people bored and want to hang themselves, etc. By the way, talking about hanging yourself, we cannot forget about the red territories. Now these countries are truly fucked up beyond all recognition. Forget about free press, judicial independence, or the right to protest. Yes, the long list continues. When you live in these countries, your life becomes something like a YouTube video, but with the comment section turned off.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Or set to strict monetary so the government can arrest you, your parents, your sister, and your dog. Finally, the grey-coloured territories are countries where there is no data available. Or better said, nobody gave two ends of a shit about people living there, so they just opted for the neutral grey colour. But even in countries where freedom is supposedly upheld, the media landscape can be a minefield of... As we mentioned earlier, you can see the continents of North America and Australia are doing pretty well. You could add the continent of Europe as well if you ignore Belarus and Russia as actually being in Europe.
Well,
South
and
America
also some of the Balkans, because they also got their own problems, mainly on the territories of former Yugoslavia.
Doing moderately well with the exception of Venezuela.
Yeah, they're screwed.
The continent of Africa and the region of the Middle East are basically a shit show. Surprise,
always has been.
Surprise. Of course, we're not talking about every country, but generally speaking, it's not very good. In many of these countries, you have authoritarian and corrupt governments. Add to that a particular religion which doesn't seem to go very well with basic human liberties.
Pretty much, yeah.
Wonder which religion we're talking about. Allow me to demonstrate. I just need to find my wife and her suicide
What
vest.
is that nose?
Sorry, what's that? No, baby. You don't look fat in that.
The goats?
Besides suicide vests, let's not forget about all the armed militias fucking around, killing civilians everywhere and all the time. I hope that no further explanation is required to tell you how that's not helping a country looking free on the freedom chart.
I gotta pause quickly. One thing that's always pissed me off is how a lot of people blame all of the Middle East's and Africa's problems on colonization and the way that the Europeans drew the borders after they left. Because that is just one of the stupidest arguments you could make. There are so many other problems which cause all the issues going on there right now. Yes, colonization didn't exactly help, but it didn't cause even half of the problems they have. Their main issues are just different ethnicities, their own corrupt governments, different religions that different groups follow, many of whom completely despise each other, so how can you blame that on someone else other than them? There's really no solutions for some of those problems. And obviously there's still other countries getting involved in internal affairs in those countries, especially in Africa. I mean, let's just take Russia and the Wagner Group as an example. But yeah, that's a topic for another time. It would take way too long to cover here, so I'm just gonna move on. That's
Moving
not what
over
this
to
video
Asia,
is about.
Japan, South Korea,
One of the
Taiwan,
Koreas.
and for some reason, Mongolia are doing pretty well. However, India and most countries in Southeast Asia achieve a moderate score on the index.
Not
If we go
terrible,
right
but
smack to the
not
middle,
great.
The People's Republic of China is not a great place for being free.
Yeah, no shit.
It is also a bit ironic they had to call it the People's Republic. Although Chinese communist officials are technically people, maybe that is what they meant.
Really? Are you sure? I wouldn't call them
Over the
people.
years, China has built one of the biggest and most extensive surveillance networks in the world, using artificial intelligence to monitor its population. Oh, and they called a part of that system Skynet. I bet one of those communist official boys is a big Terminator fan. I'm just not so sure if "I'll be back" is going to have the same ring to it in Chinese. You know what? Let's try it out. Here's
Remember,
Chinese
Tiananmen Square never happened.
Yeah, I'm not a fan yet. Unless I'm being monitored right now, and then yes, I am a big fan. Additionally, the government has implemented a social credit system that evaluates
Yeah, the social
citizens'
credit.
behavior. Basically, if you express your dislike towards the government,
Yup,
you might not
social
be allowed
credit
to
goes
ride
down.
on trains. If the government gets even more upset, they might throw you in front of said train that you were not allowed to ride on. Long story
Okay.
short, credit scores matter in China. And how about protest rights in China? Well, do you
Yeah.
remember this event?
Oh, there it is. It never happened.
Do I need to say more?
I mean, it never
looks like
happened.
the
What are you
Chinese
talking
government
about?
guarantees freedom of speech, just no freedom after that speech. Minor detail. China is also the world's largest jailer of journalists, with most of them being Uyghurs. Over the years, more than 1 million Uyghurs have been detained by the Chinese, so I guess it doesn't matter much if you are a Uyghur, a journalist, or both. Worldwide, freedom for people in different countries is in most cases best reflected by its free press, or the lack of it. Countries like Eritrea, Syria, Afghanistan, North Korea, and Iran
Eritrea.
are among the worst of the bunch. Despite the relative
Eritrea basically has a slave army.
higher scores in Europe, North America, and Australia on the Human Freedom Index, it does not mean these countries don't face significant challenges regarding human rights and liberties.
True.
However, many protesters misrepresent these challenges to criticize Western policies and organize the dumbest protests you can imagine.
Oh, yes.
For example, the climate activist groups blocking roads. So traffic needs to be redirected, causing more carbon emissions. in the
Exactly!
process.
Mitsi Studio has just become one of my favorite channels because they're making fun of all these idiots.
Although it still beats throwing soup on paintings. Or people who criticize colonialism but have no problem living in the same rich country built on that exact
Exactly.
same colonial doctrine.
Oh, I
Or
can't
the
stand
campus
people like
students
that.
who cry out loud against cultural appropriation, but all wear a kefir when it comes to protesting a war.
This as well. Holy shit.
I'll bet all of these people are
Or
very
these
grateful to
people.
use their right to protest in this wicked place we call democracy. It's like you, your parents, and your grandparents all worked hard to build an ark trying to save all living things from the
Yup.
flood, and now the fat fuck elephant is complaining about splinters in his foot. Maybe we should be more worried about rising hypocrisy instead of sea levels. The year 2024 was the year with the most elections. While over 80% of the countries in the world conduct elections, less than 40% of those elections are genuinely free and fair. So, to wrap things up, freedom is like your grandma's old Wi-Fi. Spotty, unpredictable, and somehow still better than what you get in North
Sometimes
Korea.
it works, sometimes it
At
doesn't.
least now you know where you can go if you want to be free. I gotta warn you though, there's a queue. Because in a world where freedom is disappearing faster than your attention span, at least we still have this same lame-ass channel telling you the truth. Sort of, with a bit of sarcasm and the occasional suicide vest joke thrown in. Thanks for watching, and until next time, may your credit score be high, your protest rights intact, and your big elephant feet free of splinters.
I mean, yeah, freedom of speech, it's like life.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
I'm really glad this video made fun of protesters because holy shit, they are some of the most infuriating and dumb people on this planet. Most protesters don't even know what they're protesting for, or they have absolutely no idea of anything about the topic they're protesting against, for, whatever. That's the most infuriating part. They just see something online, don't do any of their own research, and they just believe it from one source which is definitely biased in one way or another, and then they just keep going with that. And when you give them actual facts and logic, that doesn't matter because they know better. It's like those people who think communism was a good system and that it should be brought back. Like, you protest about wanting a different political system, you want to bring communism back. Meanwhile, if you had communism, the moment you protest, you either get shot or thrown in jail. It's like, how fucking stupid are these people? Communism was still a thing here in Eastern Europe. 40 years ago? Not much time has passed since communism has ended here. And yet there's still people who don't understand how bad it was. Even though there's plenty of people alive who could tell you that it was terrible. I'm not saying capitalism is perfect, because it definitely isn't. But it's still better than communism was. I could tell you plenty of basically horror stories that I've heard from my teachers, parents, grandparents, pretty much everybody who actually lived during communism here in Poland. But this video is already getting too long and I doubt you care, so hope you enjoyed. If you did, please consider subscribing and leaving a like. If you want to see more reactions like this, check out this video right here. And with that, I hope I'll see you in the next video.